So hello there, and welcome to a new Night in the Movies podcast. And in these podcasts, I talk all things movies and TV, and whatever I want for about half an hour to an hour, whenever I want. And in today's podcast, I'm talking about my experience at this year's Star Wars celebration. But before I do that, I should say what I say at the start of every podcast I do, that if you are watching this podcast on YouTube, hello there to my viewers, but heck, you just don't have the time to watch the full podcast on YouTube, then you can also check the podcast out audibly on Spotify at Night Movies on that platform. But if you are listening on Spotify, hello there to podcast listeners, then you can also check the podcast out visually on my YouTube channel at Night Movies on that platform as well. Likewise, wherever you're watching or listening to the podcast, if you enjoy the podcast, please, feel free to like and subscribe, and also leave some feedback so I know what to improve on in the near term future, and give me some topics and some suggestions, of things you want me to talk about in the near term future as well, on future podcasts. How many times am I going to say future in 1 minute? But no, give me some suggestions for future podcasts, because I'd love to have them. Honestly, I'd absolutely love some feedback and love some suggestions or things to talk about in upcoming podcasts. I didn't use the word future there, but in upcoming podcasts. Anyway, like I've already mentioned, in this podcast today, I'm going to be talking about my experience at this year's Star Wars celebration, where I got to see exclusive teaser trailers for Andor Series 2, The Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, and I also got to see an exclusive scene from Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, aka Indiana Jones 5, the new Indiana Jones film coming out next month, which is really exciting, and premiering this month, by the way, at Cannes Film Festival. And also, I got to meet some famous people, including Andy Serkis, Mikkelson, and Warwick Davis, and where I got to do a lot of shopping. I'm going to show you some of the things that I bought there, and also just talk about my experience at the convention as well, which I'm really excited to talk about, because yeah, let's just get into it, shall we? This convention happened, it was a good couple of weeks ago now, and I would have talked about my experience sooner, but I've spoken about a lot already on this channel. I was writing a dissertation at the time that I went to Star Wars Celebration, so perhaps was the best time for me. My head was kind of in a different space because I was writing quite a meaty piece of academic work, and I stayed at a travel lodge which was about 20 minutes away on the train from the celebration, where celebration was taking place, where Star Wars Celebration was taking place. And in this travel lodge, I'd wake up at 6 a.m. every morning. I was staying there because I was there for about 4 days because of Star Wars Celebration. Actually, I think I was there for 5 days, which is kind of crazy. And I would wake up at 6 a.m. every morning and write on my dissertation and then go to celebration. So yeah, I was a bit all over the place back then, and I would have talked about my experience sooner, but of course I was writing a dissertation. But now that my dissertation is submitted and over with, I can talk about my experience more, and now I can think back on it as well and go, oh, was this as good as it could have been and stuff like that. But having looked back in it and having, done some preparation for this podcast today, I've got some of my notes here on my computer, I would say that this year's Star Wars Celebration was great. I really had an amazing time there, and I didn't know what to expect whatsoever. Like, this is the first convention I've ever been to. It was the first convention I've ever been to. I've never been to a Comic-Con, never been to any sort of convention before whatsoever. So going there was a bit nerve-wracking to start off with, because I really didn't know what to expect. And literally the week before I went there, I was on YouTube, because often I watch lots of geeks on YouTube talk about, their love of Star Wars, Marvel, whatever. I like hearing people's opinions on the newest big blockbusters, or the newest, Disney Plus show or HBO show or whatnot. And I was hearing a lot of people say that Disney Star Wars is dead. Disney, ran Star Wars into the ground and stuff like that. I'm not going to call out those YouTubers, because that's not what I like to do. but, you know, it's mainly from incels. So, yeah, I was watching a lot. It isn't just from incels, though. There's some other people saying Star Wars isn't as popular as it used to be. And some people saying that Star Wars is a dead franchise now. And I was starting to get into my head that perhaps it was, you know, perhaps it was a dead franchise. And I was I was not expecting to see anybody or barely anyone at Celebration because of all these videos. My God, the internet is wrong sometimes. And those YouTubers were dead wrong as well. Even some of the YouTubers which I admire, which were saying this, yeah, they were wrong because, like, it was really, really busy there, and so many people cosplaying, so many people in costumes, so many people just... There was just so many people there dressed as characters from all three Star Wars trilogies, as well as characters from all the different Star Wars TV shows, you know, including the animated TV shows as well. You know, those animated Star Wars TV shows, TV shows which I don't really like. I don't like Clone Wars, I don't like Bad Batch, and I don't like Rebels. It's not my sort of thing. But I love that other people love them, you know, and seeing people dressed as characters from those shows was... I love that. And also I love seeing people dressed as characters in the prequels, because those films weren't loved when they came out. I mean, I'm saying that as somebody who was around when those films came out. I was born the same year Attack of the Clones came out, so I don't know that for certain. But from what I've gathered, the prequels were critically panned, and I think a lot of Star Wars fans were upset by those films when they were coming out, at least Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace anyway. And seeing a lot of people dressed as characters from those films was amazing. I saw a lot of Anakins from Attack of the Clones, a lot of Padmes from Attack of the Clones as well, dressed in that uniform she's in when she's in the arena, you know, not a uniform, but the costume, you understand what I mean. And also seeing people dressed as Darth Maul, which was always a lie, because I just love the look of Darth Maul. Say all about the Phantom Menace, but the look of Darth Maul is just spectacular in my opinion. But then also seeing people dressed as characters from the sequel trilogy. You know, contrary to what people may say online right now, the sequel trilogy does have its fans. I'm one of them. I mean, I didn't dress as a character from the sequel trilogy, but there were many people dressed as characters from the sequel trilogy there. I saw Pearl, I saw Finn, I saw old Luke, I also saw old Han, I saw old Leia, and also I saw a hell of a lot of Rays, and I'm not exaggerating here. Every single other moment I'd look around and there'd be somebody dressed as Rey. Just, you know, from one of the movies, whether it's, you know, Rey's costume for The Force Awakens, one of Rey's costumes for The Last Jedi, because she has multiple looks in that film, or one of Rey's costumes from The Rise of Skywalker, you know, when she's in her Jedi robes, if you will. You know, seeing all these girls from various ages dressed as Rey just shows you how much of an inspiration that character has been and continues to be, and I'll talk about that a bit later in this podcast as well when we get on to some of the film announcements. But yeah, seeing all these people in cosplay, and then seeing all these stores as well which are selling a lot of exclusive Star Wars content. It wasn't just Star Wars stuff actually. There was some just general movie stuff, some Spielberg and sort of stuff, because even though this year, you know, even though it's Star Wars Celebration, it is also run by Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm are also it's a company behind the Indiana Jones franchise. So they were showcasing Indiana Jones this year as well. I think they did that last year. I think they did Willow last year as well, because Willow is also a Lucasfilm property. But this year the main focus was on Star Wars. Yeah, there was a lot of Star Wars stuff showcased. But also, there was a focus on Indiana Jones as well. You know, they still had James Mangold, the director of the upcoming Indiana Jones film, and also Mads Mikkelsen, who's playing the villain in the Indiana Jones film, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's playing the lead female role in the new Indiana Jones film. They were both there. You know, physically they had a video from Harrison Ford during one of the panels talking about the new Indiana Jones film as well, and why he wasn't there, because I think he's shooting the new Captain America film right now, or he's shooting something Marvel. I'm not sure entirely. I don't really keep track on that sort of stuff anymore. But, you know, there was a lot of stuff surrounding Indiana Jones there as well. It wasn't just Star Wars. And also, I did see some Indiana Jones cosplay, which was really cool. You know, I didn't expect to see any Indiana Jones cosplay. I thought it was mainly going to be Star Wars, and don't get me wrong, it was mainly Star Wars, but the fact that I got to see some Indiana Jones cosplay, and not just of Indiana Jones. I mean, there was a lot of people dressed as Indiana Jones, but I also saw some Marions and some short rounds as well, which is, really cool. So yeah, it wasn't just Star Wars, and it was Indiana Jones as well. And if you've been watching me for a while, and I'm going to talk about this more over the next month or so, the new Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Indiana Jones 5, is my most anticipated film of this year. I'm so deliriously excited to see this movie because of how much the original Indiana Jones films mean to me. Not the fourth one, although the fourth one does have some nostalgic value for me because it was the first one I saw in the cinema, but the first three Indiana Jones films, those are the films which mean so much to me. Like, Last Crusade is my favourite film of all time, or it's between that and Empire Strikes Back. So this was a perfect convention for me. We had loads of stuff in anticipation for the new Indiana Jones film, which is my most anticipated film this year. And also loads of Star Wars stuff as well. Because even though I don't think Disney Star Wars, is in its best place right now, I'm still a fan of it. And I'm still going to watch anything new Disney Star Wars no matter what. So yeah, I had a brilliant time, and I think it was a great Star Wars Celebration because it did what Star Wars Celebration needed to do. It had the big announcements, which I'll talk about in a bit. It had the exclusive trailers, some of which are leaked online, but I wouldn't advise watching them because you won't see them the best quality. But they had some trailers which did release to the public as well. Pardon me there. And also it had, the cast from some of these TV shows and films out there. And it had, there was this great feeling when you were there of everybody spreading their love of Star Wars. There was a great feeling of a love of Star Wars, whether from the original trilogy, prequel trilogy, or sequel trilogy, one of the TV shows. Just in the atmosphere there, from all the people dressed in all the different costumes. I saw so many Obi-Wans. Some Obi-Wans from the prequels, some Obi-Wans from Clone Wars, so many people, dressed as Obi-Wan from the Obi-Wan TV show, and some people dressed as Obi-Wan from the original trilogy. And also seeing all these people in this really extravagant, cosplay. Saw somebody as a Gamorrean guard, Jabba's palace guards, and also I saw somebody as Bib Fortuna. I saw somebody as what was the other one as well? I saw some people doing mixing and matching, where some people had, the masks, the masks from the Planet of the Apes films, the original 1960 Planet of the Apes films, and were wearing them, but with a Boba Fett costume, which was really cool. I've got some images of that myself, and also some people wearing, what was the other one as well? Yeah, there's somebody, I think, that was wearing just a normal Stormtrooper outfit. By the way, loads of Stormtroopers there, loads of them. But some people wearing normal Stormtrooper outfits, but with a Gamorrean guard head mask, which was also really cool. And also, what was the other one I was going to say? Yeah, there was a lot of people dressed as Stormtroopers, a lot of people dressed as different Mandalorians, not only the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and also a lot of people dressed as Bo-Katan from, Mandalorian Season 2 and 3. But also, a lot of people, kind of inventing their own, what looked like their own Mandalorian costumes. I mean, I haven't seen Clone Wars, so they might have been those Mandalorian costumes. Those people dressing up as these different types of Mandalorians. Those Mandalorians might have been in Clone Wars or Rebels. I don't know myself. But seeing all these people dressed in different types of Mandalorian costumes, kind of, it looked like they'd made their own Mandalorian costumes, what they're trying to say, which was really, really cool to look at as well. But my favourite costume, this is what I was going to say, my favourite cosplaying was someone was dressed as Liam Neeson, dressed as Qui-Gon Jinn, filming The Phantom Menace. Like, there's this famous image of Liam Neeson in the desert filming The Phantom Menace, and he's in his Qui-Gon Jinn costume, and someone was cosplaying as that, and that was fantastic. I loved that costume. That was something I didn't expect to see, and yeah, when I saw that, I was like, that is brilliant. But anyway, I've spoken enough about the general experience, so let's talk about the days that I was there. So here are my passes. I was there on Friday, I don't know how you can see that. I was there on Friday, and I was also there on Sunday, and I was there on Monday. Those are my passes for each day. It's really cool having these passes, by the way, because obviously you got Harrison Ford on the Friday one as Han Solo. You've got Diego Luna as Andor on the Sunday one. and you have R2-D2 and C-3PO on the Monday pass. I think the Saturday pass was Kai Fisher's Princess Leia, the late great Kai Fisher's Princess Leia. Although I didn't go on Saturday, I actually just did some sightseeing in London on Saturday because that's where Star Wars Celebration was. It was in London this year, so it was accessible for me because I wouldn't have gone to it elsewhere. Like, I've never been to any of the conventions or any of the Star Wars Celebrations before because I've always been in a different country, whether it's America, whether it was I think in the past as well. You know, it's just been all over the world, and the next celebration is going to happen in Japan, so I'm not going to get to that. And the chances are, I'm not going to get to another Star Wars Celebration ever, to be honest. I mean, I might in the future, in like 10 years, if they come back to London, but, you know, I don't know about that. And I know it was held in London all the way back in 2016, but I wouldn't have gone to it back then because, well, it would have been the best place to go there. So, yes, this is probably the only time I would have got Star Celebration as well, so it holds a special place in my heart because of that. But yeah, I was there on Friday, Sunday, and Monday. And on Monday, right, I was really nervous going into it because I didn't know what to expect. And I got the train there, and then I had to change train at one point because of the route we were taken to get to, because of the route from the Travelodge to the Excel Centre where they were holding Star Celebration. I had to change train at one point, and when I changed train, I got on the what's it called, the train carriage, and I just looked to my left. I don't know if that is actually my left or what, it doesn't matter, but I looked to my side, and there were people dressed in Star Wars costumes, which I just had the biggest grin at. And then I looked to my other side, I looked to my left and looked to my right, and those people dressed in Star Wars costumes. Like, okay, yeah, we're on the right train, we're going to the right place. And then you get to the Excel Centre, and those crowds of like thousands and thousands of people going in to this big warehouse room, all waiting to go in there. And I queued for about an hour and a half to hopefully get into the big panel on Friday. I don't think it was called the big panel. It might have been, actually. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I waited for an hour and a half to get into the main panel on Friday where they do all the big announcements. They show some of the exclusive trailers, exclusive looks at upcoming projects, and also get the casts out on stage. Now, they're showing this panel in 4 different stages. There's 4 different big stages there. And the main stage was right across from where you're queuing. So the chances are, you know, I was there with my family and we knew we weren't going to get into that first big stage where they were actually doing the main panel where all the actors would have, you know, physically been. But they were showing this panel all, you know, 4 different arenas and stages, sorry. And we tried to get to the Galaxy stage, and we had to wait for about an hour to actually get into that Galaxy stage as well. Like, we got to the Excel Centre to queue to get in Star Wars Celebration about 7:30, and then they let people in, I think, about 10 o'clock. I might be getting some of the timings wrong here because it was a couple of weeks ago now, and obviously I've slept since being at Star Wars Celebration. But then they didn't actually let anyone into any of the panel rooms until 11 o'clock if you didn't have reserved passes. And me and my family didn't have reserved passes. We didn't even know you could get reserved passes. But the amount of people going with reserved passes into this Galaxy stage was really worrying. I was like, oh my god, we're not going to get in here. I'm not going to see the exclusive trailers. What if they show an exclusive clip from Indy 5 or an exclusive trailer from Indy 5 and I'm not going to be able to see it? No! But about 2 minutes past 11, the person who was in charge of letting queues into the Galaxy stage let us in, and I was so excited then. Honestly, I was getting goosebumps. I was so excited because I didn't know what we were going to get shown trailer-wise, who was going to come on stage, what announcement was going to happen, because, you know, there'd been some rumours before Star Wars Celebration that new Star Wars movies would be announced, but no one knew what Star Wars movies, you know. For all we know, before going into that Galaxy stage, it could have been a Star Wars movie announcement about a Wampa, you know, about the origin of the Wampas and Hoth. You know, I didn't know, and I just wanted to be there with all these Star Wars fans as these announcements get released out to the public, and as some of these exclusive trailers were shown as well. But we got into the Galaxy stage, and I sat on these really uncomfortable seats. But then the presentation started, the big panel, the main panel on the Friday, and it was done by Ali Plum. Now, if you don't know who Ali Plum is, by the way, side note here, he is a great film reviewer. I often listen to his podcasts. And also, he is a really good interviewer. Like, people might have come across him already. He does all the interviews on BBC Radio 1's YouTube channel with casts for upcoming films. Like, he's just recently done an interview with Jason Sudeikis for the latest season of Ted Lasso. He's also just done interviews with the Guardians of the Galaxy cast for, obviously, the latest Guardians of the Galaxy film. So, yeah, he's a really good interviewer. If you haven't checked out his videos, I would highly recommend you do so, because he's one of those interviewers that doesn't make it cringy. You know, I've seen so many interviews out there where they'll be interviewing a certain filmmaker or you know, cast members for a project, and they make it cringeworthy and hard to watch. But Ali Plum does not. And he was hosting the main panel at Star Celebration on the Friday, where they're going to do the big announcements, and he brung Kathleen Kennedy out on stage. Kathleen Kennedy, by the way, who's a bit of a controversial figure for Star Wars fans right now, and I'll talk about it a bit later on in this podcast as well. But she was talking about how excited, you know, she is to be here, and he was talking about how excited he is to be here and hosting it, Ali Plum was. And then one of the first things, I'm not going to do this in order actually, because I don't actually remember the order that they brung out each project. But one of the first projects he brung out, in fact it might have even been the first project, I said I'm not going to do it in order, but I'm probably going to end up doing it in order. But yeah, the first project I think they brung out was Andor. And they had Tony Gilroy out on stage. Tony Gilroy, who's a showrunner on Andor, and also he's directed and written some of the Bourne films, and you know, he wrote and directed Michael Clayton as well. Great film. So yeah, you had Tony Gilroy come out on stage. You had Diego Luna, you know, Andor himself, who was on my pass. He would just get out here. Yeah, you had Andor come out on stage. You also had, oh, what's her name now? Adria Jonah, the one who plays Andor's sort of love interest in Andor. You had Andy Serkis come out on stage, which was really surprising, because as much as I love Andy Serkis, as much as I loved him in Andor Season 1, I didn't expect them to bring him out on stage for anything Andor related at this Star Celebration. He was going to be there, but, you know, I just didn't expect that. You also had some of the other cast members come out as well as the one who plays Mon Mothma. I've forgotten the names of her off the top of my head. And the one who plays the, you know, the female Imperial officer leader. You know, what's her name? I forgot the name of these characters off the top of my head. But yeah, they had the cast out from Andor, which was really exciting. By the way, just to reiterate, I wasn't in the same room as these people. That would have been something if I was, but I wasn't. I was in a different stage watching this on a big projector screen. And they brought them out on stage and they were talking about how they were so excited by the reaction to the first season of Andor. And then Tony Gilroy, the showrunner, was like, oh, by the way, we're still shooting the show. We're still in the, you know, in the nitty-gritty midst of shooting of it now. We've still got so much to do. We're going to show a teaser for Andor Season 2. Bear in mind, it's not coming out to summer of 2024. That's what they said. And I was like, oh, blimey, I didn't expect this. I thought I might get a couple of images from Andor Season 2, but didn't expect a teaser trailer. And let me just say this about the Andor Season 2 teaser trailer. It's great. It's really good. If you like the first season of Andor, this one, it ticks all the boxes, you know. It's got that Nicholas Patel, I think it's Nicholas Patel, score shining through once again. Stellan Skarsgård does not look happy in the trailer. He wasn't there on stage, unfortunately. I thought he might be, but he wasn't. But he looks particularly angry in the trailer. It looks very intense once again. It also looks like they're setting up a lot of payoff in the trailer, and yeah, I just watched that trailer celebration, and honestly, I was gripping the edge of my seat that I was sitting on. I was like, this is what I want from Andor, and this feels so exciting. Just the trailer, just this teaser trailer. They haven't even finished shooting Season 2 yet, and I got to see some footage, which some people might not see till it's released, you know, till the episode's released on Disney Plus next year, and it looked amazing. Now, this wasn't talked about there, but I have a bit of worry about Andor Season 2, and I might talk about this in a future podcast. Yeah, I probably will, actually. And that's to do with the writer's strike right now. Because I'm not going to really go into the writer's strike in the video today, because I didn't really talk about Star Wars Celebration, and it doesn't really, go into this topic that I'm talking about in this video. But my worry is that Andor is kind of on production, even though the writer's strike is happening. And I'm a bit worried about that. But that's another matter entirely. But what I saw in that trailer for Andor Season 2 looked just as phenomenal as the first season of Andor did. And if anything, it looked a bit better. It looked very, very intense. And I'm looking forward. In fact, I can't wait to see what Andor Season 2 is like. Pardon me. Now, the next trailer we got, if I remember correctly again, was Skeleton Crew. And Skeleton Crew, people don't know already, this is one of the upcoming Star Wars TV shows. I think it's coming out later this year. I think that's what they're implying. It's coming out probably October-ish, November-ish, maybe December-ish. And they brought out Jude Law on stage. It's Jude Law's in this project. And they described it as Stranger Things meets Star Wars, and they said it had a lot of Amblin influences. And if you don't know what I mean by that, like E.T. the Extraterrestrial, The Goonies, Gremlins, and so on and so on and so on. Stand By Me and that sort of, those sort of films. And they brought out the cast on stage, mainly consisting of kids, but they did have Jude Law on stage as well. And they were talking about how excited they were to be in the project, especially Jude Law, who, surprise, surprise, was apparently a lifelong Star Wars fan. Most of the actors who come out on stage said that, but it was still nice to hear. And they were talking about the excitement of the project. Jon Favreau was out on stage because he was talking about how he's involved, and Jon Favreau's been involved in, The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett so far, and he was talking about how excited he is about his project as well. They also had John Watts wasn't there. If you don't know who John Watts was, you've don't know who John Watts is, by the way. He directed the latest 3 Spider-Man films, the Tom Holland Spider-Man films, and he's involved in this project as well. And they didn't have him there, but they had a video clip from him because apparently he's doing work on the show still. And he was in this set where they were doing some of the spaceship shots for Skeleton Crew, and they were using the old style filmmaking of the spaceships like they used to use for the original trilogy. And that was quite exciting, actually, when they showed this clip of that. I was like, oh, I didn't realise they're going to go like that for a show like this, because I just expect it to be the same sort of look as, say, Mandalorian. I don't know if they did this for Mandalorian as well, the whole ship look, but yeah, it looked like they were trying to make the ships in Skeleton Crew look like they did in the original Star Wars trilogy. Hopefully you understand what I mean there. But yeah, everyone seemed excited about the project, and then they showed a teaser trailer for Skeleton Crew. I don't think this one's been released to the public, but I saw it. From what I can remember, it looked really good. It did have that, Stranger Things Amblin feel in the trailer, and it looked promising, a lot of interesting elements. And also, they talked about the directors they have for this project as well, for this TV show. You've got Bryce Dallas Howard coming back, directing another episode of another Star Wars TV show. She directed, the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett. She also directed some great episodes of all the seasons of Mandalorian so far, and apparently she directed an episode of Ahsoka from what I've heard, although that wasn't officially announced there. But she's also directed an episode of Skeleton Crew. John Watts directed an episode. It's going to be interesting to see what his direction's like outside of Spider-Man. And also they said, sorry if you can hear tracks outside by the way, they also said that the Daniels, the now Academy Award winning the Daniels, are directing an episode. They previously just directed Everything Everywhere All at Once, so it's going to be interesting to see their direction, in a already established franchise. But yeah, there was a very interesting director lineup, and the trailer looked promising. I don't think the trailer looked great though, because of one big thing. And slight spoilers here if you don't want to know this, but it's going to be released to the public eventually anyway. When the trailer comes out, I dare say it'll be in the trailer. But Jude Law's character in Skeleton Crew is apparently a Jedi. Didn't love that, because I got the impression, when I watched Revenge of the Sith for the first time, that with the events of Order 66, all the Jedi die. We keep learning now in recent Star Wars that there's still so many Jedis out there. I mean, not only Obi-Wan and apparently some Ezra character and Rebels that I don't really know about, but I dare say I'll get to know about when the Ahsoka TV show comes out. But also, you know, in Obi-Wan we learn there's loads more Jedi still out there. And we keep learning that there's still Jedi's alive. Look at Ahsoka, she's still out there. And now we find out that Jude Law's character in Skeleton Crew is going to be a Jedi. I'm a bit like, oh, really? I would have liked him if he was not. I mean, don't get me wrong, if he has some cool Jedi moments, I'm not going to care too much. But, you know, I would have preferred if he was not a Jedi. That's all I'm saying. Maybe he had the Force, but he's not a Jedi. Like that one with the big spear in Rogue One. I don't know, something like that. But instead, yeah, you've got this character who I thought was going to be some smuggler, a bit of a Han Solo mix with Andor sort of character. But now he's found out he's a Jedi. And that might work really well, but I don't know. It also it put me off the show a little bit. But anyway, the trailer looked promising, and I'm looking forward to Skeleton Crew. Let's see how it turns out. And yeah, let's wishing for the best with that one. And also, one thing I should say with Skeleton Crew is they're trying to get the Amblin feel back in there. You know, the Amblin feel in there with the show. Kathleen Kennedy was involved in many of those early Amblin films from the 1980s, like The Goonies, like E.T., like E.T., and so on and so on and so on. So, hopefully with her input, that will do really well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It just didn't blow me away like the Andor trailer blew me away. Bear in mind, Skeleton Crew is shot, and Andor hasn't even finished shooting yet, Andor Season 2, and I thought Andor Season 2 looked better. But I'm hoping Skeleton Crew is great, nonetheless. And that trailer, like I said before, looked promising. Then they showed the teaser trailer for The Acolyte. Now this, again, if you don't know what it is, apparently the show want to describe it as this in the panel. It's a Star Wars TV show from the perspective of the Sith, set thousands and thousands of years before the events of the Phantom Menace, set what I think is during the Old Republic. I must admit I'm not too familiar with the Old Republic myself as of now, and it involves a lot of Jedi, and a lot of Sith that we don't really know of yet, and we probably won't have any characters, you know, that we've already met before in the Star Wars galaxy in this show, because it's set so long before the events of the Phantom Menace. And the cast that they brought on stage, we're all really excited about. A great, diverse cast of lots of famous actors from other TV shows as well. I'm not going to go into the actors. You know, the cast is up on a line already, but they had the whole cast there. One of the cast members was dressed as Padme, which is quite funny, and she came out and said, by the way, I should say, Padme is not in this TV show. I just wanted to cosplay as Padme because I love her. So it was kind of cool to see that prequel love from some of the cast members, but also, yeah, they all seem really excited about the show, though. And then they showed the tease for Acolyte. And I'm not going to go into detail on this teaser, but there's one frame in the trailer which I was in this room full of Star Wars fans, and the other, you know, the Andor trailer and the Skeleton Crew trailer, they got a good reaction from these Star Wars fans, you know, good crowd reaction. But there was one shot in the Acolyte trailer where the whole crowd just went wild, and it was great. I'm not going to say what frame it was, because even if I explained it, it wouldn't sound that cool anyway. But if you watch on a trailer, honestly, it's really, really exciting. And that Acolyte trailer looked pretty damn good. Now, sadly, I don't think this TV show's coming out this year. I think it's going to come out early next year. And this is probably what I'm most excited about, because even though I'm looking forward to Skeleton Crew, I'm looking forward to Andor Season 2 massively. Andor Season 2 comes out after this, you've already confirmed that. And this one is not based in the same time period as a Mandalorian. Like, one thing I didn't mention with Skeleton Crew is it said that it's set in the same time period as the Mandalorian and as the Book of Boba Fett. And so I'm more excited to see a different era of Star Wars. Not that I'm, you know, getting bored of the Mandalorian era of Star Wars. I've just seen loads of that already. I'm looking forward to seeing something different. And the Acolyte looked really, really good. They also got the one who plays, what's her name? The one who plays the lead female in the Matrix movies. I forgot her name is now. She's got a funny name in those films. But she's also in Memento as well, the Christopher Nolan film. And she was not on stage, but she's in the show. And yeah, great cast, and that trailer got me excited. A lot of really exciting just frames and scenes in that trailer. And bear in mind, it was not of any, you know, sort of famous characters in the Star Wars universe. It wasn't like the Emperor showed up in the trailer. The thing that got most people excited is something they haven't seen yet. That's what I'm going to leave there. I was like, oh, wow, I haven't seen that yet, and I'm excited for it as well. Now, those are the exclusive trailers which were shown. I think some of them are leaked out online. I wouldn't recommend watching those trailers because you wouldn't get the best quality out of them. But I didn't even get the best quality out of them as well, actually. I should say here, I watched these trailers about 10 lines away from the projector in this big warehouse room where the Galaxy stage was. And I was a bit like, I can't really see it too well. But at least I get to hear the announcement for everybody else. And at least I get to see, you know, these exclusive trailers. Even if I don't see them particularly well. And particularly in the best quality. But anyway, yeah. It was great seeing those trailers. And then we got shown some of the trailers which were released to the public as well. Like we got shown the new trailer for the Ahsoka TV show. Which is coming out this summer. I think this August, actually. And the Ahsoka trailer got a lot of crowd anticipation. Like, it got a huge crowd response. Clearly, a lot of Clone Wars fans and Rebels fans were sitting by me because those people who were standing up and cheering during certain moments, like Chopper, I think that's what the droid is called, in Rebels. There's a moment when he comes up on the trailer. This isn't spoil the trailers that released out online. And people stood up and went, whoa, like that. And I was like, whoa, this is really exciting. And yeah, a lot of parts of that Ahsoka trailer got people really pumped up. Like when they saw the back of Filoni as well, who is this apparently big Star Wars character in the animated TV shows. I must admit, I'll say it here. I've said it again already in this podcast, you know, I'm not a big fan of the animated Star Wars stuff. So my opinion on Ahsoka is I'm looking forward to it. That trailer for Ahsoka looks great. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's great. And I wish the best for it. You know, it looks promising. But I'm a bit iffy on it still. Just because it's Ahsoka. And my only exposure to Ahsoka at the moment is in the episodes of Mandalorian, which is in the Book of Boba Fett. And also some of the episodes I've seen of Clone Wars, which I didn't really like whatsoever, and also what I saw of her in the Clone Wars movie, and I did not like that Clone Wars movie whatsoever. I remember seeing it in the cinema back in 2008 and really not liking it that much. And I've tried watching the Clone Wars TV show over time, but it's just not for me. It just doesn't work for me, which is fine. It's all subjective, but I just can't get past the animation. It looked like the sort of low-budget, cheap animation that's put together before you go on a theme park ride at, say, something like Legoland or Ocean Towers. And so, yeah, it doesn't really appeal to me whatsoever. And I don't really care about the Ahsoka character, but I hope it's great. And the trailer looked promising, and it got a great response. I loved that loads of people were excited about it, and you know, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I can't say I'm highly anticipating it. You know what I mean? I'm hoping it's good, but it's not on one of my most anticipated Star Wars TV shows for the next, year or so. I'd probably say I'm looking forward to it more than Skeleton Crew, but that might be just because it's coming out before Skeleton Crew, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's coming out around the same time, it's meant to be set around the same time as The Mandalorian, so I reckon we could see some of those characters from, the previous season of Mandalorian in Ahsoka, and maybe Bo-Katan, maybe the Mandalorian himself. We'll have to wait and see. But the trailer looks good. I just don't really know what to expect. And fingers crossed I don't have to have watched Rebels and Clone Wars to understand the show. And they had Rosario Dawson, who's playing the live-action Ahsoka, out on stage. They had the one who's playing, I think it's Sabine, I might be wrong, but they also had, you see how much I know about these Clone Wars characters. And also they had Mary Elizabeth Winstead out there, who was talking about her character that she was playing. In fact, she may be playing I can't even say her name, Sabine. But I don't even know, I'm not even sure who's who, really. Hopefully I'll learn in the show, and hopefully they'll make it accessible to us. But yeah, they had Mary Elizabeth Elizabeth Winstead out on stage. And if people don't know, by the way, little Star Wars trivia here, she is now married to Ewan McGregor, who, you know, obviously plays he plays Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's played Obi-Wan Kenobi in Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and he recently just played him in the Obi-Wan TV show. So Star Wars connection there. And apparently they had a child together last year as well, so I bet that child is going to grow up engrossed in the Star Wars world. But also, at the panel in the morning, they talked about The Mandalorian and talked about people's excitement as well and people's response to The Mandalorian season 3 so far. Bear in mind, this was at the point where up to 6 episodes of Mandalorian season 3 had been released, so episodes 7 and 8 hadn't come out yet. And they showed the opening from episode 7 of Mandalorian season 3, which got a huge response because Thrawn's name was dropped, and it got a huge response in the stage that I was at. And then they had Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni out on stage, who are the two showrunners of Mandalorian. They announced that, I've got my itchy nose, I don't know why it's become so itchy all of a sudden. But anyway, yeah, they had Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni on stage, who announced that evening we were going to see the new episode of Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 7, the then new episode of Mandalorian, that evening. They announced that, and I was like, yes, that's exciting. And it was for all the people on these different stages. You have these armbands to get into these showings, and also that we would get these exclusive Mandalorian posters. So give me a sec. Just going to get mine out here. It's a bit crumpled up because I had to take it in a number of suitcases home, but still, there it is. It's a pretty good poster. Say all about Mandalorian Season 3. Love it, hate it, whatever. You know, that's a really good poster in my opinion. I'm really happy that I got that because I wouldn't have got it elsewhere, you know, if I didn't go to Celebration. But they announced that we're going to see the next episode early, and that evening I did see the next episode of Mandalorian, the then next episode of Mandalorian. Obviously now the series has come and gone, season 3 of Mandalorian has come and gone, but seeing it back then, seeing it, what was it, 4 or 5 days before everybody else saw episode 7 of season 3 of Mandalorian was amazing. I've already spoken about this in my Mandalorian season 3 review. You know, it was an amazing experience seeing it with a huge crowd, seeing the reaction to, well, certain characters' moments in that episode. Again, I won't go into spoilers because you haven't seen the season yet. But yeah, it was amazing just seeing that with a huge crowd. Although, I must admit, it was a bit weird that they showed us the opening of that episode, you know, in the main panel, and then they said, oh, by the way, you can see the rest of that episode later on in the evening, but they just re-showed us the opening. I was a bit confused by that. I mean, maybe they did it to get people enticed to go and see the episode later on in the evening. I don't know, but still, it was great, and I loved that. But that was all the Star Wars stuff. And it wasn't all the Star Wars stuff, actually. One thing, bloody hell, could forget this. The biggest thing that they did in that panel... In fact, should I talk about... No, I'm going to talk about this now. Yes, the biggest thing they talked about in this panel was the new Star Wars TV show... Not new Star Wars TV shows. The new Star Wars films that they announced. They announced new Star Wars films for the next couple of years. By the way, just before they did this... they also brought all these different costumes from all the Star Wars films and TV shows out on stage, which was pretty cool to look at, you know, and seeing what they all looked like together. And the guy designed all these different costumes and whatnot. He said, the trick is to make them look like somebody we all know. And I thought that was really funny. But anyway, then they announced the new Star Wars movies. And they announced James Mangold's new Star Wars film, which apparently is going to be about the birth of the Jedi, the very first Jedi. Sounds very exciting. And also, they said that there's going to be a movie. Dave Filoni is going to direct a Star Wars movie, which is going to tie together all the Star Wars TV shows taking place right now. Pardon me, which, you know, means The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and Skeleton Crew. Apparently it's going to tie together all those shows, not Andor, and as far as I know, not Obi-Wan. They didn't say Obi-Wan, but they said it's going to tie together storylines from The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Book of Boba Fett in one movie, and Dave Filoni is directing that. And also, they announced that Rey is returning. Daisy Ridley as Rey is returning for a new Jedi Order film, which I think is meant to come out in 2025. And I thought they were a great announcement. I know there's been some pushback towards the Rey movie already, and here's what I'm going to say about that. If I was the head of Lucasfilm, I would not have, greenlit a Rey movie. The sequel trilogy was divisive, and a lot of people didn't like the sequel trilogy, and a lot of people didn't like the Rey character. She got some backlash from that character. Got some backlash from a lot of Star Wars fans. Some people calling her Mary Sue, which I just think is completely and utterly idiotic. But still, nonetheless, these things did happen, and Daisy really did get bullied online as well. Drove her off of Instagram back. I think it was back in 2016 or something. So yeah. I wouldn't have announced that if I was the head of Lucasfilm. But there's a reason I'm not the head of Lucasfilm. When that movie got announced, so many people cheering in the stage that I was at, and so many people cheering as well in the stage that I was watching on screen, the main stage, where everybody was actually physically out, all these famous people were actually physically out, and where the announcements were physically taking place, And the reaction that Daisy really got when she came out on stage was just tremendous. And so, would I have greenlit a Rey Skywalker film? No, but at the same time, though, I can see why they have. Like I said before, I said this in my opening to the video today. There's so many people, and I'm not over exaggerating now. I'm not hyperbolizing. There were so many people dressed as Rey, cosplaying as Rey at Star Wars Celebration. This year. They were cosplaying as Rey from from the 3 Star Wars sequel trilogy, from the 3 films. There were people cosplaying as Rey from The Force Awakens, Rey from The Last Jedi, and Rey from The Rise of Skywalker. So, whether you like those films or not, you cannot deny that she's been an inspiration. She has been. And if you were there, you would really feel it. So many young girls dressed as Rey as well. And so many girls, it looks about my age, maybe couple years older, maybe 10 years older, I don't know, but they were dressed as Rey, which just shows you how much of an inspiration that character has been, regardless of your own, thinking of that character, whether you liked her or not, whether you thought she was a good character, a great character, an amazing character, or a pretty bad character, doesn't matter. She has been an inspiration for so many people, and so the fact that they announced a new movie focusing on Rey creating a new Jedi Order, I think is a good announcement. I can understand why they're doing it. It's going to get backlash, but, that's incels for you. It's going to get backlash for some people online who just won't accept anything with a female lead regardless. It's like the Marvels, when the trailer got released for that, the amount of backlash the Marvels has already got, the Captain Marvel 2 coming out in a couple of months' time. I don't really care about Captain Marvel 2, that's just because it's a Marvel film. I'm not for an all-female superhero movie, and the amount of backlash that film has already got is crazy, and the same thing is going to happen with the Rey Skywalker film. And I just find that just really, really stupid, just completely idiotic. Because, I know a lot of people weren't at Star Celebration, and I know a lot of people weren't there and didn't have the same experience I did, seeing all these people dressed as Rey, but honestly, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I'm not lying, I swear to God. I swear on my life, I swear on my family's life, I swear on anybody's life, anybody close to me. There was so many people dressed as Rey there that you can just tell she's been such an inspiration, that character in itself. And so the fact they announced a Rey movie, I think is completely understandable. Would I have done it? No. But that's just me. And I'm looking forward to seeing that film. Because apparently as well it's going to be penned, they didn't say this at Star Celebration, but apparently the script is going to be written by Steve Knight, who was a showrunner on Peaky Blinders and has also written many popular and critically acclaimed TV shows. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really good film. They have an Academy Award-winning filmmaker directing the Rey Skywalker film. I don't know who it is. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. But yeah, they've got some really interesting, creative people coming from behind the scenes. So yeah, hopefully that movie's great, and I have a lot of high hopes for it. I do think it's going to be a very popular film. But also, like I said before, they announced that Dave Filoni was going to direct a movie which is going to tie together Ahsoka, The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and other various Star Wars TV shows taking place in the same era as The Mandalorian. And I'm looking forward to that. You know, I didn't think we're going to have a film that was going to, you know, tie together all these different TV shows taking place right now. In fact, I thought it was going to happen in one TV show. You know, like I thought they're going to call it The New Republic, the TV show, or they're going to call it The Resistance, the TV show, something like that, The Birth of the Resistance. But they decided to do it as a movie. And I'm all for that. My biggest worry is that Dave Filoni is directing it. Now, Dave Filoni has shown with his directing on The Mandalorian and in The Book of Boba Fett that he is a good director, but I don't think he's a great director. It's going to be his first movie. It's going to be his first feature-length film that he's tackling, and my only worry is that it's not going to have the most confident direction, and it's not going to be done as good as it can be. You know, apparently he's directing multiple episodes of Ahsoka, which is good, and if those episodes he's directed are good, then I'll have more faith in this new Star Wars movie directing. But so far at the moment, I'm looking forward to it just because of the characters we're going to see return in that film. But I'd be lying if I said the choice of director, Dave Filoni, got me excited. But that's just me. But then they also announced a James Mangold Star Wars movie. And I was really surprised by this. Although, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking, why was I so surprised by this? Because James Mangold is directing the new Indiana Jones film, and clearly Disney have a lot of faith in the new Indiana Jones film because they're premiering at Cannes. If they're premiering at Cannes in less than 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, less than 2 weeks, they're premiering at Cannes, and that's a long while before the film officially gets released to the public. And if they weren't confident in the new Indiana Jones film, then they wouldn't be doing that, you know, because the word and the reviews going to come out about the new Indiana Jones film, and if it's bad, that, you know, if it gets out that it's bad at Cannes Film Festival, then a lot of people aren't going to watch it. But if it gets out it's good, there's going to be a lot of buzz surrounding the Indiana Jones film before it gets officially released, and hopefully ignite a good box office for that film as well. So clearly Disney have a lot of faith, and clearly Lucasfilm have a lot of faith in, and clearly Kathleen Kennedy as well, the head of Lucasfilm, has a lot of faith in Indiana Jones 5 as well. And so when they kept him on stage after talking about Indiana Jones 5, aka Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, at this main panel, I was at first thinking, oh, so James Mangold was directing a Star Wars movie. That's a bit weird. I'd prefer him to do something non-blockbuster related after he does Indiana Jones. But then, at the same time, it makes sense because he seems, from everything we've heard, to have a good relationship with Kathleen Kennedy, and I think that helps a lot. You know, J.J. Abrams directed multiple Star Wars films because he, and pardon me, had a good relationship with Kathleen Kennedy. You know, he directed Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker, and also, I think people, you know, Jon Favreau, he's worked with Disney Stars now for a good couple of years because he's spoken highly about Kathleen Kennedy's working relationship with her. So the fact that, you know, James Mangold, who, from everything we've heard, you know, from reports, from people who've already seen Indiana Jones 5, from Spielberg himself, who's already seen the movie, he's made a good film and he's got a good working relationship with Kathleen Kennedy. So the fact that he is making a Star Wars movie doesn't surprise me, because it makes sense for Kathleen Kennedy to do that if she's got a good working relationship with him. And I wouldn't put it past them saying that maybe James Mangold gets his own Star Wars trilogy in the future. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing there. But if Indiana Jones 5 is as good as Disney are hyping it up to be, and if, you know, James Mangold's Star Wars movie delivers as well for the majority of the fans, I think he will direct future Star Wars films. And also, I just said before, you know, after Indiana Jones 5, I wanted James Mangold to direct something non-blockbustery. He's doing that Bob Dylan biopic next year, so, you know, he's doing things differently, which I like about him. You know, he doesn't just do the big blockbusters. He also does small, intimate films sometimes. So, yeah, hoping his Star Wars movie is great as well. And I'm hoping Indiana Jones 5 is great, aka Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And this was the other thing that they talked about at this main panel. They talked about the new upcoming Indiana Jones film, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which I've already said already in this podcast. This is my most anticipated film for this year. It has been my most anticipated film since 2008 since I saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull at the cinema, and I've always wanted to see a sequel in some way to that film, and we're finally getting it this year. Like, I know it's not going to have many ties from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and, you know, over time, I realised that that's a good thing. It's not going to be a direct sequel to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, it's going to be its own thing. But I'm still hoping it has some ties to it, because say what will about the fourth Indiana Jones film, love it, hate it, whatever. I'm hoping this new fifth Indiana Jones film ties up all the Indiana Jones films, though, not just the first three. I'm hoping it ties up all the Indiana Jones films and does it really, really well. And they showed the newest trailer for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny at Star Celebration at the main panel, and that trailer got a big pop, you know, a big crowd reaction in the stage that I was watching, and also that trailer got officially released to the public. It's a great trailer, by the way, really great trailer. I didn't love at the start of the trailer how they put a Rolling Stones song in there. They put, you know, please allow me to introduce myself. What's the song called? Sympathy for the Devil, that's it, Sympathy for the Devil. They put Sympathy for the Devil in the Indiana Jones trailer. I didn't love that to start off with. I wanted to hear more of the John Williams score shine through a bit. But then they infuse the Rolling Stones song with the John Williams Indiana Jones theme, and I love that. Honestly, I've watched that trailer about 1,000,000 times just because of the way they do that music. You know, I'm a Rolling Stones fan. I'm not a huge Rolling Stones fan, but I do like some of their music. I'm a mega John Williams fan, so the use of music in that trailer looked great and was great to me. They didn't look great, sorry, it was great, but also the trailer itself just looked. It looks brilliant. It looks like an Indiana Jones film, and I'm deliriously excited to see it. And also at this panel, they brought Mads Mikkelson out on stage, who's playing the villain in the Indiana Jones film, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge out on stage, who's playing the lead female in the Indiana Jones film. And they had this clip of Harrison Ford saying, "Sorry I'm not there at Star Celebration. I love all you guys. You're the greatest fans in the world, blah, 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 blah. You know, I would be there, but I'm doing work right now." Honestly, it felt like Harrison Ford was continuing that character he was playing in Shrinking. And by the way, he's amazing in Shrinking if you haven't watched that show yet. But then he said, enjoy this trailer, you know, for the new Indiana Jones film. And then after they showed the trailer, Ali Plum said to James Mangold, he was out on stage at this point because James Mangold is directing the new Indiana Jones film. He said, "Have I got anything else, James, to show them from the new Indiana Jones film?" And they showed us this 5-minute clip from the middle of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, the clip was good. It was out of context, though. That's the biggest thing I'll say about this. That's my biggest criticism, because I think in context, that scene, that sequence, the big action sequence that got shown from the new Indiana Jones film would be great, you know. But we got shown it out of context, so I was watching it going, yeah, it's good, I'm liking it, but I want to know the context a bit more. But, you know, it's a good sequence, though. It's a sequence which invokes, you know, the basket chase sequence from Raiders of the Lost Ark, where Indy's going after Marion after she's been captured in one of these baskets. And also, it invokes the truck chase from Raiders of the Lost Ark a bit as well. It also invokes the minecart chase from Temple of Doom, and it invokes the Venice boat chase sequence from Last Crusade, and it even invokes the chase through the streets of, I think I want to say Brooklyn, you know, this chase through the streets in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull as well, with, you know, Indy and Mutt and those people chasing after him. Probably the best part of that film, one of the best parts of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And so it invokes all these different action sequences from the previous four Indiana Jones films, probably some of the best action sequences from those films as well. And yeah, I thought it was great, and it felt like an action sequence from an Indiana Jones film. I just wish I got to see it in context, you know. But, you know, I will do come June 28th when the film is released to the country. Well, when the film is released to the UK anyway. It comes out worldwide on June the 30th. But yeah, dead excited to see this film, and that trailer got shown was great, and the exclusive clip we got shown was also great as well. And it showed that they had a lot of confidence in Indiana Jones 5, and fingers crossed they deliver. But then, after the main panel was over, I went into the convention area and did quite a bit of shopping. And like I said before, I've never been to a convention before, so this was quite something for me. Going around to all these stores and going, oh my god, I never thought I'd ever see this, ever. Like, they had toys there that I've seen on eBay before, going for like 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to almost, 100 to 150 quid, going for these really extravagant prices that I never thought I'd ever get. And then they were at these stores at convention, at Star Celebration, and they were really good prices. And yeah, I got to buy some amazing content that I might never have gotten elsewhere. I'm going to show some of that Star Wars content now. It's by my side. Pardon me, it's by my side right now. So let's show some of these. I don't know how they're going to show with the focus on the camera, but this is a Qui-Gon Jinn Funko Pop. That's an Amazon exclusive, which I wanted for a long while, and I paid a very hefty price for this one. But I'm very happy I've got it because I love this pop. I haven't taken it out of my box, which shows you how much I love it. I don't take pops I love out of their box straight away, and yeah. Love this one so much. I even got a special case for it. Yeah, great Funko Pop. Hopefully you guys can see it rather well there. Then I put that one down. I got this 3-pack of Greedo, Hammerhead, and Walrus Man from A New Hope from the Cantina. I got this for a really good price, actually. And by the way, I didn't get any of these Funko Pops at the main Funko store because it was almost impossible to get in there. I did get in there on Sunday, but after going there towards the end of the day, and it started to queue for like half an hour, even though it was towards the end of the day and everything was dying down. So yeah, the Funko store itself, the official Funko store there, was really busy. But this was a separate store that was selling, old sort of rare Funko Pop, and this one was there, which is a really cool one. Like I said before, some really unique Funko Pops. Also, I got this Christmas Yoda Funko Pop, even though it's not Christmas, even though it's summer, I wanted this Funko Pop for a long while. I always see it just before Christmas, and I think maybe someone will get it this year for me. No one has, and I've had that since probably about 2019, maybe 2018 actually. And so when I saw it, I just thought, get it, because someone probably never gave that. And I got it for a good price as well. So yeah, really happy with that Christmas Yoda Funko Pop. And then we move on here. This is the one I was most excited about, this Funko Pop. I got a General Grievous Funko Pop, which is very rare. I wanted this one for a very long while, and he's always been like 50 quid on eBay or Amazon or anything like that. And I never thought I'd ever get him. And I said to myself, if I see a General Grievous Funko Pop at Star Celebration, I'm going to get him. That's exactly what I did. And it's got his own case, and again, I haven't taken out the box yet. I will do probably, because I like taking Funko Pops out of their boxes. It's just what I do. I'm not those people who like keeping them in the boxes. I do sometimes, but more often than not, I don't. And so I will probably take him out of his box, but I just love seeing him in the box now. I love seeing him. Just love seeing that I got a General Grievous Funko Pop. I know a lot of people won't care about that, but I love it. And I said before, I see it on eBay for about 50 quid. I spent about that much on it. But I wouldn't have got it elsewhere if it wasn't at a convention, so I don't care too much, really. It was a once-in-a-lifetime sort of thing. Even if there is another Star Celebration in London, I don't know where it'll be when the next one is, if there is one at London ever again. And so, yeah, I just went all out on whatever I saw. Also, some other Funko Pops that I got. These are the ones from Bsck from Cloud City towards the end of Empire Strikes Back. These were a really good price. You can even see the price there, 25 quid. Actually, how well you can see it. This is Lobot, Ugnaught, and Bespin Guard from Empire Strikes Back. Really cool set, really great price. And I thought, you know what? Why not? And it's a really great set. I haven't taken them out of the box yet. Not because I don't want to, but just because, again, I just love seeing them in the box. So yeah, I'm a bit like that. I'm a bit weird like that with Funko Pops. Also, another Funko Pop which I got, which is here, which I have taken out of my box, is the Wampa. Look at that. I got that with the Bespin guys that I just showed you. I went. This was a different store than where I got the General Grievous and where I got the Christmas Yoda Funko Pop, and this store had like loads of pots from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and I saw this one. I was like, "Oh, get this with the Bespin guards, some Empire Strikes Back Funko Pops." I love this one so much. I love the stand it's on as well. Look, it's got the ice caps at the back there. And just look at the Wampa's face and look at the way his head bobbles. I love that. I took him out of his box just because of how great he is. I actually think he's better out of the box, this one, than in the box. But anyway, those were most of the Funko Pops I've got. Actually, no, I did get some more Funko Pops, but I'll show you guys that a bit later on. But as for some of the figures I got, I'm not going to go through everything I got because honestly, you'd be here till next week if I did that, maybe even next month because of the amount of stuff that I got. But these are just some of the main things that I got. I got this, which is the figures of the Force Ghosts from the end of Return of the Jedi. It originally came in a proper box, but I took it out of the box just because I wanted to look at the figures in more detail. It's got its own plate there, which is like the Andor, which is part of the Andor houses that you see the Ewoks in. And also, I love the background. I mean, I'll probably take these figures out of their background, but I just love that background of the Ewok village from Andor. And I love these figures because it's of the original Force Ghosts. I don't know how many people know this. There's two different versions of Return of the Jedi. In fact, there's probably more than two different versions. Pardon me, but there's two main different versions, the original version and the remastered version. Now, Return of the Jedi was remastered after Revenge of the Sith came out with Hayden Christensen's Anakin Force Ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi instead of the original Anakin Force Ghost that you had back in 1983 before any of the prequels were ever made. And the guy who played Anakin, the Anakin Force Ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi, was the one that you see as Vader when the helmet gets taken off by Luke towards the end of Return of the Jedi as well. And this is of that original Anakin figure. That's a figure of the actor, the original Anakin actor from the original version of Return of the Jedi. Hopefully you understand what I mean there. There's two different versions of Return of the Jedi, and this figure set is based off the original version of Return of the Jedi, which is why it's particularly special to me, because that's the version I grew up watching. I didn't grow up watching the remastered version. I grew up watching that version, so that version holds a special place in my heart. Also, I got some Black Series figures here, so I got Boba Fett there. I don't think this one actually officially comes out till August, so it's cool getting some of that exclusive content a couple months before other people. He comes with loads of accessories. I've got a couple of them on him now, like that. The fire coming out of him, the jetpack there behind him, the fire coming out of the jetpack. Great figure. Really, really love him. And really happy I got him. Also, I got this Black Series Stormtrooper. It reminds me a lot of the Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, because that was the Stormtrooper on the cover. And yeah, wanted that figure for a long while. And when I saw a celebration, I just thought to myself, get it. Because why not? Also, if you bear with me a sec, I got this other Black Series of Obi-Wan from the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show. Hopefully you guys can see that rather well. Love his cloak and love his accessories. He also came with the young Princess Leia's droid, this Black Series. I don't have that one on me. It's back there, the droid that Leia plays with in the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show. But yeah, it came with some great accessories, and I think this figure is great as well. Also, if I stretch here a bit, I got some other non-Star Wars figures. So give me a sec. I got Indiana Jones dressed in his uniform, well, not dressed in his costume, that he is during the map room sequence from Raiders of the Lost Ark, because I was selling some Indiana Jones figures there, because like I said, it's a Lucasfilm convention, really, and they were talking a bit about Indiana Jones 5, and so they're selling some Indiana Jones merchandise, and this is one of the figures I got. I also got him from Raiders of the Lost Ark as well, one of the villains. I forgot his names right now. I want to say Bold, but I might be wrong. Yeah. Great figures as well. And I also got, going back onto Star Wars now, this Admiral Akbar figure, which I really love because just because of his detail. I love that he's small. I don't know how well he looks on the focus, by the way, but yeah, love this figure. And I got loads of other figures as well, and I could go on about all the figures I got, but we'll be here forever. And that was a lot of the shopping that I did, figure-wise and toy-wise, on Friday. But I also got these pins on Friday. So there is a pin of a Silver Stormtrooper pin, which I really love. Also, I got this Rebellion / Resistance pin. Don't know how you guys can see that because my fat fingers are covering it. Hopefully you guys can see that rather well. Yeah, I got those two on Sunday. I also got some posters. Not on Sunday, sorry, on Friday. I'm still on Friday. I also got some posters as well. This was a exclusive Lego Star Wars Mandalorian poster they were giving out. And you didn't even have to go into the Lego store to get this. It was just giving it out right near the Lego store there. That was a really cool poster that I got. Big crumpled up because I had to bring it back in numerous suitcases. But still, really happy that I got it. And this was a really great poster because I'm a Beatles fan and I'm a Star Wars fan. And if anyone knows the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club album cover, look at that. Absolutely brilliant. It's Star Wars, but as the Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band album cover. Really, really great poster and really good buy that I probably would have got elsewhere. And also, I got this exclusive Star Wars Celebration magnet. It's only a magnet, but it's a souvenir from my outings, and I really like that. And yeah, Friday was great, and I also saw some people get interviewed at the fan stage that you didn't have to get like an exclusive pass or go into a queue to go and watch. And I just did a lot of shopping for the rest of the day after watching the main event, and then I got to watch Season 3, Episode 7 of Mandalorian that evening. And also, one of the things about Fridays, I saw a lot of people in cosplay, and I saw this huge group of people in cosplay dressed as people in the prison uniform from the first scene of Andor. You know, when Andor goes into prison, you have Andy Serkis there, and he's shouting, you know, "Oh yeah, do the work," you know, and that sort of stuff. And people dressed in the prison uniform from Andor, and they ran through the Excel Centre going one way out, like the prisoners do in that one episode of Andor when they're all escaping. Spoilers there for Andor if you haven't seen it, but the show's been out for a while now. So yeah, saw some really cool cosplaying, and that one way out thing was it was quite something. I've got a video on my phone, which, yeah, it was quite something to see. Right, so this is an add-on because when I was filming this podcast on my experience at Star Wars Celebration, I forgot to mention that when you're walking around the convention, they had all these giant models from the movies, from all the Star Wars movies and Star Wars TV shows as well. And that includes the AT-AT, you know, the big walkers from Empire Strikes Back that you see in Hoth. There was one big one in the centre of the centre, in the middle of the Excel Centre, and also in one warehouse room where there was all these stalls, you had this ATST, which you see in Mandalorian Season 1, in that one episode that takes place in the Forest Planet, and also in another warehouse room where all the fan interviews were taking place. You had another ATST, but this time it was the one from Return of the Jedi, and it was placed alongside the Imperial bunker that you see on Endor from Return of the Jedi as well. And also, round about where all the fan interviews were taking place, there was a model of the creature, I forgot what it's called now off the top of my head, but the creature that Luke rides at Hoth in Empire Strikes Back. And also there was the gun unit that you see the Hoth soldiers use. You see the Rebellion soldiers use on Hoth from Empire Strikes Back as well. And also in the middle of the centre, right near the AT-AT, about 100 yards away from the AT-AT, in the middle of the Excel Centre where Star Celebration was taking place, there was also this big TIE fighter, and at times it did feel like you were in the Star Wars universe, because not only did you have all these models, but you also had banners surrounding the centre as you're walking in, banners of Andor, the character Andor, and also Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Ashoka, the Mandalorian with Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, and all that sort of stuff. And you just felt like you were in the Star Wars universe in a way. I mean, you didn't, because you were in the Excel Centre, and that looked like a shopping centre. I mean, it was a conference centre in the end. So it looked real, but, you know, at the same time, though, you did feel like you were in the Star Wars universe in a way. And I really loved that about it. And also, I just loved being that close to the models that you can almost touch them. And I just realised, I'm not recording this for the podcast. For anyone who's watching this on the video, this is a special edition just for you guys. So there you go. But anyway, yeah, that's just one thing I forgot to mention whilst I was filming and recording this podcast earlier today. Anyway, back to the video. Let's get on to Sunday, shall I? On Sunday, I didn't do loads more than I did on Friday, to be honest. I did a lot more shopping, as you might expect, and I got some photos of some famous people as well. So, the first thing I did on Sunday, I think, we got there a bit later than we did on Friday, because we heard from some people that you could basically just walk into the convention at about 10 o'clock because most of the queuing had died down by then, and that's basically what we did. So we walked into the convention and we saw this droid exhibition of all the different droids from all the Star Wars movies, including Rogue One and Solo, and also the Star Wars TV shows as well. And it was a really great exhibition because you just saw all these different types of droids, which I never thought I'd seen in person, like the Super Battle droids. Pardon me, loads of the R2 units, BB-8, the droid from Andor, K2SO from Rogue One, the droid from Solo that Phoebe Waller-Bridge plays. Also, some of the other droids. There was like a Lego droid there as well. There's loads of different droids. Some which were fan-made, some which looked like they actually come out of set from the film, and some of these droids were actually going about in the convention area. It was just wonderful. And also, so I saw a lot more people in extravagant costumes on Sunday. Like I saw somebody in a General Grievous costume where I think the person was in General Grievous's cloak, and so it looked like General Grievous was actually walking around. But I think the person in the costume was in the cloak, so I'm not sure how that works, but another great cosplay there. And also I saw people in a long line of Mandalorians walking through the Excel Centre dressed as, Mandalorians. A lot of what looked like fan-made costumes, although I don't know for certain, maybe they were dressed as Mandalorians from Clone Wars. But yeah, that was really cool as well. And the biggest thing, though, that I did on Sunday, I almost said Saturday then, but the biggest thing that I did on Sunday was get photos with famous people, famous actors from the Star Wars films / the Star Wars universe, because there was some in the TV shows as well. And the first image that I got, the first photo that I got with a famous actor on Sunday was with Andy Serkis. So that's me, my brother, and Andy Serkis together getting a photo on Sunday. And that was a wonderful experience. Now, it cost a lot of money to get this photo, so I'm not going to say how much money it cost. But you also had the choice to have the photos emailed to your email, so I did that as well. So I've got this physical copy, and I've also got a digital copy as well, which is really cool. But the experience was wonderful because... Right, you had to wait for a bit and wait till your group got called out to who you were going to go and get a photo with. And then you went in this line, though, and it was almost like you're going on a theme park ride. You stand in this line, and then you go into this small room, although it's not really a room, you just go into this small area where you put your bag down, and then you go into another area where the famous person you're getting a photo with is there, and you have to stand in the queue watching all these other people get photos with them, and then you have about 30 seconds to get this photo with this famous person. And there's all these people beforehand saying, don't touch the famous person, no shaking hands, no cuddling, no whatever. And the first thing that happened with me, Andy Serkis, and brother, we walked to Andy Serkis and he just gave us a handshake, and I just laughed my head off at that point, because I was like, but we were just told no handshakes, but they're giving out handshakes, and the people who told us no handshakes are right there, they were right behind us, and they can see that Andy Serkis is giving out handshakes. Doesn't really matter, but it was quite funny. And you had 30 seconds just to get into that pose, they take the photo, and then you walk out of the area. and you probably have about 10 seconds to say something to the famous person. And the thing I said, because Andy Serkis was involved in the Hobbit films, not only was he in the first Hobbit movie as Gollum, but he's also a second unit director through all 3 Hobbit movies. I said, by the way, I absolutely love the Hobbit films. And he said, oh, thanks, mate, which I loved. It made me think that Andy Serkis is a really wonderful person. I mean, I don't know that for certain, but, the fact is, he was probably getting pictures and autographs and whatnot with hundreds, maybe thousands of people every day there at Star Celebration. And the fact that he said that to me, I just found that really nice. So yeah, really great experience getting this photo. It's a really great photo there. Don't know how well it looks on the camera, but I've got a digital copy, which, yeah, I might show in a future video. But anyway, I also got another photo about an hour later. Hopefully you can still hear me. And this one was with Mads Mikkelson. Now, if you don't know who Mads Mikkelson is, he was the villain in Casino Royale, the Bond movie. He was also the villain in the latest Fantastic Beasts film, where he replaced Johnny Depp's character. He was also the villain in Doctor Strange. He played the villain a lot. And also, he was Galen Erso, the creator of the Death Star in Rogue One. So that's why he was there. But he was also at Star Celebration because he's playing the villain in the new Indiana Jones film. And that's why I wanted a photo with him. Because I wanted to say, before the new Indiana Jones film came out, I got to meet the villain in Indiana Jones 5 before the new Indiana Jones film came out. That's what I wanted to say. And I did. I had to pay a lot of money for it, but I did. This photo experience was slightly worse because I was queuing for a bit longer. But when I was queuing to get this photo, there was someone in front of me who was dressed in an Imperial outfit talking to me and my brother about how at the last Star Celebration he was queuing for hours to get photos with people. It was crazier and much longer. So he said this year it was a lot better. And it was a really good photo. I'm really happy with that photo. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but obviously that's my brother, that's Mads Mikkelson, and there's me. I don't know how well you can see it as well because of the sun. But yeah, really great photo and another wonderful experience. Now, before I get into my last photo that I got, in between getting the photos, there was also interviews going on at the fan stage. And from a far distance, I saw Ian McDiarmid, who plays Emperor Palpatine, come out, and he did his famous Emperor laugh. And also, from a very far distance away, I saw Ewan McGregor come out as well. He looks like he's shooting a movie where he plays a French politician right now, to be honest. But he came out, and the cheer that he had when he came out was enormous. People love Obi-Wan, even after the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show came out and wasn't for everybody. You can tell how much people still love him, though, as Obi-Wan, though. And it was amazing. And I didn't get to see him particularly well. I was from a very far distance away. It was almost like that scene in Polar Express, when Santa Claus comes out and the main character is trying to see him, but he can't see him particularly well because all the elves are jumping about. It was like that. And I could just see Ewan McGregor from miles and miles away. But I was just thinking, I see Ewan McGregor, one of my all-time favourite actors. And that was absolutely wonderful. But my other picture that I got on Sunday was with Warwick Davis, who was there in the middle. I don't know how well you guys can see that again, but if you don't know who Warwick Davis is, he plays Wicket the Ewok in Return of the Jedi, and he reprised that role at the end of The Rise of Skywalker. Yes, that's true. I got a picture with an Ewok. Hey! And he plays Willow. If people didn't know that already, he played Willow in the Willow film, and he also played Willow in the Willow TV show, and he's been in Life's Too Short, and he was also in Harry Potter, and I think he was in Merlin at one point. He was in an episode of Doctor Who. I mean, everybody's been in an episode of Doctor Who, but he's been in loads of stuff. He's one of those actors which you probably see him in something, but you don't realise it, because he's often in costume, like he's in costume in Return of the Jedi, and also he's in some background scenes in The Phantom Menace on the pod racing sequence, and also he's in The Force Awakens, in The Last Jedi. Yeah, he's been in loads of Star Wars stuff, and he was also, his biggest role in Star Wars, though, is playing Wicket the Ewok, which he did in Return of the Jedi, so I was really excited that I got to get a picture with an Ewok. That's essentially what I did. And I love the Ewoks. I love them to pieces. And I also love Warwick Davis. And I love him as well. So it was really great getting that photo. Anyway, that was the photos I got on Sunday. I was talking about Sunday right now. And also on Sunday, I managed to get into exclusive Lego stuff. And in the Lego store there, the exclusive Lego store? No, the Lego store. I got into the Lego store, and this is what I'm going to say, I got some exclusive stuff there. And what I'm talking about is that I got these Lego brickheads. So that's Lego layer brickhead. If you don't know what they are, they're essentially like Lego Funko Pops, essentially. There's Lego Wicket the Ewok, Walk Dave's character. Here is Lego R2-D2, Lego R2-D2 brickhead. Hopefully you guys can see that rather well. And here is Lego Lando in his costume from Return of the Jedi. And here is Lego Luke brickhead. And the reason that there's these brickheads right now, pardon me, is because I think this year is the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, so they're bringing out the brickheads as the heroes of Return of the Jedi. That's what they call it, the heroes of the Battle of Endor. And the reason these are exclusive as well is because they're not actually exclusive. They were saying they're exclusive, but in reality, they're exclusive for now. You know, they come out this August officially on the Lego website, so you can buy them in a couple months' time, but I got them early, and that was really cool as well, because I follow a lot of avid Lego collectors on YouTube, on Twitter and stuff like that. And so the fact that I got something kind of Lego exclusive before they did was really quite cool in my opinion. I was a bit smug about that. And it's not exclusive, but it's exclusive for now. And I really liked that about it. And that was the only thing they're really selling in the Lego shop, because I was in there on Sunday and most of the Lego sets they were selling had sold out. I think you could get the big 150 quid R2-D2, but I didn't really want that. And yeah, because I got those Lego brickheads, I also got this free Lego Star Wars Celebration exclusive panel. I don't know how well the camera is going to pick that up, but it's this little panel, 4x2 Lego piece panel that says Europe 2023 Star Wars Celebration. And again, you know, you had to spend, I think it was 40 quid or over to get that. And I wouldn't have spent 40 quid or over if I was somewhere else. But because I was at Star Wars, I can't even speak now because I've been speaking for so long, I'm forgetting how to speak. But yeah, because I was at Star Wars Celebration, I thought, you know what, just do it. Because you're here and you might never get this chance again, go all out and just get the panel, because why not? And that's what I did. And it's only a really small panel, but to be honest, it's probably worth about 40 quid. And I'm really happy I got that, because again, it's like another token from Star Celebration. That's just another reminder that I got there this year. And that was pretty much Sunday. I left pretty early on Sunday. I say pretty early, it was only about 3 o'clock, and or maybe I left about 4 o'clock, maybe 5 o'clock, but it was still pretty busy leaving. But I left earlier than I did on Friday, got some great photos, some great buys, and then on Monday, now, this is my final day, I finally got into the Star Wars Celebration exclusive shop that they had there. Because they had all these different stores there, but they had an exclusive Star Wars Celebration store where they were selling lots of cool merchandise. And here's some of the merchandise I got at the Star Celebration store. I got these pins, so that's Bib Fortuna and Jabba. I haven't actually taken them out of their little packaging. I just like the packaging quite a lot, to be honest. And also this one, I haven't even taken out the packet. Here's Han Solo, one of the Ewoks, the leader Ewok, and a, I forgot what the name of the droid is now. Scout Trooper. Droid? God, my head's all over the place. Yes, I got a Scout Trooper pin as well, which I really like. Got that in the Star Celebration store. And also got, if you give me a second, I got this Star Wars, so you can hear the door as well. I'm just going to ignore it. I got this Star Wars Celebration exclusive poster. If you look at that, which is really cool and colourful. Yeah, we love that poster. I don't know how it's going to show up on the camera, but yeah, really great. Anyway, and then also at the exclusive Star Celebration store, I got probably my favourite buy of Star Celebration in this Max Rebo cuddly toy. and I just love how it looks. Yeah, and something I never thought I'd get, and yeah, it's Star Wars Celebration exclusive. I think he goes for like 60, 70 quid online right now, and yeah, just really, really great cuddly toy, and I just love it so much. He's so comfortable as well. Every time I look at him, I just melt, because Max Rebo was one of those characters that I just love. I've had a bit of an obsession with ever since I was a kid, but I never seem to be able to get anything Max Rebo merchandise related, and this was what I got Max Rebo merchandise related. Finally, I saw people walking about with him in the shop, and I couldn't find this one. And then I just found him at the bottom of this cage. It was sort of like cage sort of net where they had loads of the cuddly toys, and I picked him up. I didn't care what price it was. I'm like, I'm having this. Just look how amazing he looks. It's a Max Rebo cuddly toy. What's not there to love? Anyway, yes, that was great as well. And they also had an official Funko Pop store there. And one thing I haven't mentioned yet is on Sunday I did actually get into the Funko Pop store, but I didn't get any exclusive Funko Pops there. Now, when I did get into the main official Funko Pop store at Celebration, I got this pretty cool, just standard Stormtrooper Funko Pop, which I really like. It's just normal Stormtrooper, but you know, you don't see him elsewhere that often, so yeah, really like that one. But I didn't get the exclusive Funko Pops that they're selling there. They were selling some exclusive Star Wars Celebration Funko Pops in R2-D2 and the other R2 droid that you see traveling around Mandalorian now, that's also in A New Hope. I didn't get them, and also they were selling a Jar Jar Binks Funko Pop as well, exclusive Star Wars Celebration. And I didn't get it there, but as a present for finishing my dissertation, my brother got it me. And he says he didn't get it at Star Wars Celebration. He said he got it on the Funko website. Although, I don't know how he got it that quickly, because apparently it was only available on the Funko website a week after Star Wars Celebration. And I didn't realise the Funko website delivered that quickly. So, yeah, was not expecting this whatsoever, and it was a present for finishing my dissertation. But even though I didn't get this Jar Jar Binks Funko Pop at Star Wars Celebration, even though it's a Star Wars Celebration exclusive, I still got it. And I'm just going to say I got it from Star Wars Celebration. I mean, I've told you guys now that I haven't, but, you know, I've got it from Star Wars Celebration, essentially. Not really, but, you know, I have. And it's a Star Wars Celebration exclusive, and I just love it. I mean, I don't love the Jar Jar Binks character, but I've always had a bit of affection towards him, because I did love him when I was a kid. I've now grown a brain, you know, and now I definitely don't love the Jar Jar Binks character, but I love that Funko Pop. And, yeah, I got him about a week or two ago after handing in my dissertation, and he's just great. I love the box design on this one as well, just the way it looks in the box, and yeah, superb pop. Even though I didn't get it Star Celebration, I feel like it did, you know what I mean? Anyway, hopefully you do. And also, one thing I forgot to mention that I got in the Star Wars Celebration shop, jumping around a bit here, but we got to over an hour on this podcast now, over almost an hour and a half into the podcast, so my brain's a bit all over the place now, and I'm starting to, my voice is starting to go a bit. But one thing I forgot to mention that I did get in the Star Celebration store there was this t-shirt of Yoda, and if I get the t-shirt up there, there's a Star Celebration logo down there. And you could get different types of these t-shirts. You could get Luke like this, you could get Leia like this, you could get R2-3PO like this, and you could get Han in this sort of design as well. But I wanted to get Yoda, because Yoda's one of my favourite characters in Star Wars, and he was also a bit different. Like Han, Luke, Leia, great characters, but a lot of people would get them. I know a lot of people whose favourite characters is Luke or Han, and I just thought Yoda was a bit different, you know what I mean? Bit of a different t-shirt. And also, I got this Star Wars hat here. Didn't get this actually, I don't know how well it fits my head. Actually, I don't think it fits my head particularly well, but I didn't get this at the Star Wars Celebration store. I just got this at a store that was selling t-shirts and hats and whatnot, but I just wanted it because I love this hat. I just love having a hat that says Star Wars. I mean, my dream actually is to have a hat that says Lucasfilm, so I look like an employee. I look not an employee of Lucasfilm, but I look, yeah, an employee of Lucasfilm. What am I saying? Yeah, like I look like I'm an employee of Lucasfilm, somebody who works on Lucasfilm movies. But I got a Star Wars hat, and I think it's a great hat, and I'm really happy with it. And I almost didn't get it. It was a lot of money, but, like I said before, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, probably. So, I went all out. And is that pretty much all the stuff I got that I'm going to show? Pretty much. Other than there's one last thing that I got on another shop, which was this Final Order Stormtrooper helmet. One of the Sith Troopers, actually. One of the Sith Trooper helmets. It's not a helmet, actually. It's made of plastic. It's quite cheap, and I got it for quite cheap. But if I put it on here... Look, I like it quite a lot. Ha! Hey! Yeah, it's quite a good mask, actually. I haven't properly worn it yet. But it's cheap, and to be honest, I'm surprised I made it back because of how cheaply made it is. But, you know, it looks cool. I know there's a lot of people out there who don't like the Rise of Skywalker, but you cannot deny that that helmet has a cool design. At least, in my opinion, it does anyway. And that was pretty much all I got at Star Wars Celebration. All the notable things I got. I got a lot of other figures as well, and a lot of other stuff. But I'll be here forever if I went on and on talking about some of the stuff that I got. I did get a shirt, actually. Another thing I forgot to mention that I got at not the Lego store, the Star Wars Celebration exclusive store. Another thing which I forgot to mention I got was this Star Wars sort of bowling shirt, which I really, really love, and I'll most likely wear in a future video or future podcast on this channel. It's just hanging up over there, but I didn't want to wear it for this video because I thought this looked like a nicer t-shirt to wear, just because it's more colourful. But I probably will wear the shirt as well in a future video, and also for my mum who went along with me to Celebration, which isn't really her thing, so I decided to get her something at Star Celebration as well. I decided to get her something at the Star Celebration store, and I got her a Russian doll Ewok set. If you know what Russian dolls are, you know they're those dolls which you break apart, and there's a smaller one. Hopefully you know what they are. And I got an Ewok version of them, which is really cool. I mean, I didn't get it actually, my brother did, but you know, let's just not say anything about that. But anyway, yes, that's pretty much all I got. That's pretty much all I got that is notable to talk about in this podcast, you know. I got a lot of figures as well, but I'm not going to go into them because I'd be going on and on about the figures I've got, and I just, yeah. We'll be here for days if I did that. But on Monday, I did see a lot of cosplay, though. I did see a lot of cosplay on Monday still. A lot of people dressed in Bad Batch costumes, which was really cool. Again, a lot of people showing they were fans of the animated side of Star Wars, which I'm always loving, even so I'm not a fan of the animated Star Wars even so I'm not a fan of the animated side of Star Wars myself. I love that people are, and I love to see all these different costumes. But I did a bit of cosplaying on Monday. I'm not going to show any images from this, but I dressed as a Jedi on Monday, and I had my own lightsaber here, which I bought on Amazon the week before I went. It's a bit of a noisy lightsaber, but I like it quite a lot. Makes a noise when you pretend to hit it as if you are fighting. Yeah, it's a really great lightsaber, and I held this as I walked around just as a Jedi, which I really loved doing a bit of cosplay, because I brought that Jedi outfit specifically for Star Wars Celebration, and I was worried about wearing it on Friday or Sunday, but I finally, built up the courage to wear it on Monday, and I'm really happy I did, and I got some amazing photos, and I would show some of these photos that I got as well, with me dressed as this Jedi. But the photos aren't the best quality. So if you want me to make a confirmation video to put on YouTube in a couple of days' time, in a week's time or something, I'll happily do so. I'm just saying the quality of the videos and photos that I got aren't the best because I got them on my phone. I didn't use my video camera, even though I took it, I didn't use it. I didn't use my old video camera whilst I was in the celebration area. So all the pictures and videos I got are quite cool. They have quite cool stuff, but the quality isn't the best. So I'm happy to put it online. I'm happy to make a confirmation video of it. I can't even speak now. My voice is starting to go. I'm happy to make a confirmation video out of it. But just warning you, the quality isn't the best. So there you go. And if you want me to do that, let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, that was pretty much my experience at Star Wars Celebration. Honestly, apart from the main panel, I did a hell of a lot of shopping because it was the first convention I've ever been to. But, you know, I'm still really happy with the fact that I went to the convention and I did do all the shopping. I did have this experience, and then I didn't just do the shopping as well. I saw so many great cosplaying, and I heard about all these announcements in person with this huge crowd of Star Wars fans, and the fact that you felt the Star Wars fever there in the air and in the atmosphere was just absolutely wonderful. It really, really was. And yeah, it's probably a once in a lifetime thing, which I'm going to keep with me for a long time. And I thought it was a great Star Wars celebration because it did what it needed to do. It had the big announcements, it had the trailers that were released to the public, and it gave Star Wars fans something to analyse and go on about for a long while. And yeah, I really, really had a great time. I loved Star Wars Celebration. I love getting photos of famous people. I love getting photos with people doing cosplay. I love getting to talk to people being to previous Star Wars Celebrations there. I love getting to do all these different stores, getting to the Lego store there and getting to the Funko store there, seeing famous people from a distance as well, getting to the Galaxy stage and hearing all these big announcements and just experiencing people celebrate Star Wars. Loved it. An amazing experience, and in my opinion, a great Star Wars celebration. Although, I am biased because I was there. But anyway, yeah. Great Star Wars celebration in my opinion, and that was my experience there, and that was all the notable stuff I got as well that I show in the video. Probably not best for podcasters, actually. If you're listening to this audibly, I do apologise, because I was showing a lot of stuff in this video, didn't actually think this through. I was showing a lot of stuff in this podcast, so I do apologise if you listen to this on Spotify or something like that, because you may not have had the best experience watching or, should I say, listening to this podcast today. But still, hope you enjoyed it. And if you went to Star Celebration as well and you're watching this video, let me know what you thought of Star Celebration in the comment section below. And if you weren't at Star Celebration, let me know what you thought, what you think of the announcements as well. Let me know what you think of the trailers that were released from it, and let me know what you think of what you heard from it. Maybe somebody who wasn't there. I'd be interested to hear your perspective on Star Celebration as well. And I do apologise as well that this podcast on my experience of Star Celebration is coming a while after Celebration happened, but you know, I was busy writing a dissertation. I think that's a fair enough excuse. I think it is. But anyway, yes, that is it for this podcast today. This might be my longest podcast yet. So if you have managed to watch it to the end, or even if you watched a bit of it, thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed me talking about my experience. Hopefully I didn't ramble on for too long, but I got a feeling I did because we're over the 1 hour and a half mark. But still, thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't yet, please click down below and like, subscribe on this podcast, and look forward to many more, both film and TV reviews and podcasts and whatever coming soon on this channel. Thank you as always for watching, and I suppose this is it. So I will see you guys again soon. But bye for now. Bye.